Winter, 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 winter. Freaking winter. So, hey guys, what's up? We are at the cabin again. Anyway, guys, welcome to another cabin video. This is definitely the last cabin video of the year. 1 billion%. Considering the year will end in about 2 weeks, then I'm pretty sure I won't be able to push out anymore. Like I explained in the previous episode of the zipline deal that I got going on there, if you're interested, link up here, what this piece of crap is all about. I pretty much explained what I'm planning to do in this episode. Just gotta open my door lock and we're good to go. Anyway, the deal with this episode is up there. Up in this place, I mean. I'm really glad that the building is nicely sealed. It's currently airtight, but the loft area is kind of uninsulated, including the roof area. Why am I so short? I believe an upgrade is in order. Unspuns certified. Which one would you rather have? That or that? I could even park my excavator on here. Flimsy grab. I feel like this one will just fall over, even by staring at the thing. Okay, relax, relax. Don't get agitated. I'm on your side, okay? Check this out, guys. That light there. The thing has sockets built into it. That is pretty cool. One light is powering the next light. That is pretty dope. There we go. A lot better now. Anyway, let's pick the first task. What would that be? Be right back. I need to do that thinking thing. Anyway, guys, I think I've been staying here for almost 2 weeks. But I think I figured it out. What I'm supposed to do. Me thinking, let's do the power wiring for the entire loft area. So, sockets and ceiling lights. Felt like I had a small earthquake. I wonder what was that. Oh. All the snow came down. So that's what it was. So this was a good example right here. Why the rain gutters need to be lower than the first set of tiles. And you can see that this is pretty flimsy. So this definitely can't stop all that force.
Oh boy. Oh well, back to work. Why do I always make the wiring too long? For a guy who tries to save on everything, I seem to miss that logic with wiring. Not gonna lie, guys, this part was complete AIDS, but at least the socket side is now sorted out. So all in all, the loft area will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 sockets for this entire area. Talk about overkill, but I think I'd rather have sockets than extension cords. Okay, well, next up would be the interior lights. The wiring for them, the light switch for the room will be here. Addition to that, there's gonna be another switch as well. One that will switch off the lights downstairs. Or was it on that side? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by the toe. I guess it's on this side instead. So my vision is I'm gonna have 3 lights here. I'm thinking 3 should be enough. So I need to run a wire from here, somewhere here, then extend it out to somewhere in the center, and the third one will be somewhere here. Yeah. You know what, guys? This episode is great because for once I'm not limited by the amount of daylight. Right now it would be just too dark for me to work outside. Doing the interior work in the winter time is the best idea I've had ever since I was born. I do hope I don't hit any screws. I can't see, but I'm pretty sure there's a screw there. What the? How am I finding these screws? Who's the dumbass who put that screw there? Yeah, now the drill does not drill anymore. Clearly we can see that there is something here. So following the laws of the universe, there should be nothing here, right? Man, the thing does not drill. Here maybe? I'm getting absolute success here. Clearly going excellently. just to make sure when I start hooking them up, I know what's what. Okay, well that kind of takes care of the wiring situation on the loft area. So let's quickly check what's what. Socket wiring all around the loft. Check. And the ceiling lights. Check. Check. And check. I'm pretty sure I'm finished with the wiring now. Except for a couple of exterior lights. But that's like an end game job. So, not today. Okay, so next order of business. Let's focus on the side walls now. Completely insulate the side walls and then add some kind of a finish to it on both sides. So first things first, I need some rock wool. I'm guessing this is gonna suck. Like, a lot. Gonna be fun. Freaking rock wool. So I relocated the wires from here to there. So good that I had the wires a bit longer than necessary. So this situation kind of sorted itself out. I think this part will be mildly boring. So pretty much I got the back all this wall, nicely fill it up with that stuff. Same on that side, and also install the vapor barrier. So this stuff is like construction paper, but one side is laminated with some plastic. So this side is rough and this side is smooth. There's also a better version of it, one that is fully made out of plastic. But considering this thing is like, I don't know, 4 times cheaper, and it pretty much does the same job, then why even bother? Actually, the full plastic vapor barrier is mostly meant for saunas, bathrooms, washrooms, well, pretty much everywhere where there is massive amounts of moisture in the air. But for living room purposes, this cheaper version of the stuff will work just fine. The laminated side always will face inwards to where the room is. I mean, it even says here 10 centimeters overlap, taped together, laminated side facing inwards. So I'm gonna roll some dunes for you guys and also roll some dunes for this guy in hopes to get this part done smoothly. Oh, and also super fast. Super fast. Can you guys even see anything? Wow. What a freaking genius. I mean, if there was some kind of a competition, let's say a dumbass competition, I would probably even win if I did not, even if I did not take any part of it. So it took me roughly 2 days to complete that wall and also this one. I have no idea why it took me that long. I do have a theory though. I'm thinking I'm just lazy. I mean, that's the only reason I can come up with. Lazy ass. Anyway, the sides are nicely fully insulated now. So that end got 350 millimeters of mineral wool. I mean, that's just stupid. In my defense though, the wall for this side is just ridiculously thick. And I did not want to leave any empty space inside the walls. This side ended up getting 250 millimeters. Still quite a lot for a side wall. I'm thinking about 200 would be fine. Okay, well, next order of business would be the roof. So insulating the roof is pretty straightforward. In theory, I need to put those things in between those things. But for me, theory never works. So I'm gonna have a bunch of problems here that I realized. And I need to sort them out before I put any that stuff on the roof. So number one is bark. I should probably get rid of it. Don't even ask, I don't know why I installed it here with the bark. I'm guessing I was on some form of crack. So the second issue is a bit more complicated. I just kind of discovered it yesterday. I mean, as problems go, this is kind of annoying. The problem is the gap between the roof trusses. So on a normal day, the gap should be about 55. I don't know why, but it's 57 and a half. 55 here, 56, 57, 57, 59. What the crap? I guess it's kind of okay on most of them. I mean, 56 is still doable. Maybe. I'm gonna check. Okay. I'm guessing 56 is still manageable. What about 57? Yeah. This will not do. So the gaps need to be anything between 55 and 56 will work. But if the thing is too wide, then obviously these things will just fall down. And even if I secured them somehow, I would have gaps between the insulation, which is not great as well. And I think that's about it. I can't find any more problems right now, but I'm pretty sure I will discover more. I mean, this entire building is one giant problem. But anyway, I'm gonna try to remove as much bark as possible from the trusses, then try to figure out how many gaps I need to make narrower. Oh, how the turntables have turned. went from non-stop rain, darkness, to amazing winter weather. Holy crap, this is amazing. This is so much better than non-stop rain and the fact that it's always nighttime. Kinda cold though. Let's go check out the temperatures inside the cabin. Oh. Color me impressed. This looks pretty good. The difference is like 15 times. And considering the fact that the only heat source I have in the cabin right now is most likely that chainsaw, which I occasionally do use. As heaters go, I would probably not recommend to use this type of heater to heat your living or bedroom. Okay, before we continue with this episode, I was thinking let's go for a walk. The weather is super nice right now. Let's see what's what. I mean, I have done this before and you guys always enjoy this part of the video. At least you have told me so. So let's do some copy-paste. Beefcake. Beefcake. Yeah, the thing is still standing. It has not fallen down yet. But there's always tomorrow. So this stream thing here is currently in the process of completely freezing over. The thing freezes, but the water will find a way, and then that new layer will freeze, and the ice layers just kind of stack on top of each other. You can kind of see some nice ice pancakes going on there. I think the thickest ice level I have ever seen on this location was when this stump was just completely submerged in ice. So that probably makes the ice thickness about a meter. But like I said, it kind of stops here. This part never freezes over. I call this part of the stream witchcraft. I do believe I have never showed you guys this. So I actually made this bridge about, I don't know. Well, the footings for the bridge were always here. There has always been a bridge on this spot. What I did was the concrete part. Like I've said, I'm no engineer, but the thing seems solid as a bunker. I did the pouring in multiple parts. I think the pouring job took me about 3 weeks to complete. And I added bunch of steel, old concrete posts, bunch of rocks and boulders. And yeah, this was the result. I'm not sure what the carrying capacity is for the bridge, but I have driven over it with my Bobcat multiple times. I guess we can safely assume it's at least 3 tons. Possibly even more. I got another bridge thing here. So back in the day, this used to be some kind of a dam to hold some water in this area. But it does not serve that purpose anymore. Right now it's just a bridge. Cute little bridge for doggies and cats to walk over, apparently. Wow, get a load of that view. Feels like I'm in Canada right now. For those who are wondering about the gravel mine situation, the cabin is just behind those trees, right there. The property line ends just after these trees. So the open area behind the forest is the area where the gravel mine is trying to get its business running. As of right now, they don't have the proper paperwork for it yet, so it's probably gonna take a couple of years. Wish I had this Canada weather like all the time. That would be super duper awesome. But anyway, let's get back to work. So basically, this part is just a part where I'm gonna make a bunch of annoying mosquito sounds. Smells like barbecue. Either that or something's on fire. This was quite an adventure, but I think I kind of sorted it out. For you maybe it was only a couple of minutes. For me, at least 3 minutes. This should do. Oh boy. I think I should call this building the dust cabin. But anyway, if you wouldn't mind to excuse me for a moment. There are a couple of eye sockets that I would love to just pressure wash right now. Anyway guys, before we continue on with the cap situation, I kind of remembered that I still have at least one more problem that I need to sort out. This problem in particular has been kind of haunting me for a while. So basically when installing the undercoating, I needed to cut a cap on the top there, but I kept pushing it forward. I was like, I'm gonna do it later, no problem. And then the later arrived, and then I was like, well, I can still do it later. Then that time went and passed. By the time I was finishing up installing the roof tiles, I was like, oh, I think I forgot something. Yeah, that's pretty much how it played out. So the ones that don't understand what I'm talking about is the undercoating that goes over the roof, just behind this brownish fiberboard thing. The top needs to be open So what that will achieve is ventilation on both sides of the undercoating. I forgot to make that gap at the top. So I need to do that gap because there might be some moisture related issues down the line if I don't do it right now. Now to fix this problem I have kind of two options. So the first option would be to remove the roof tiles from the top. Just removing the tiles is not enough though. There's also a waterproof filter under the top tiles. And that stuff is kind of glued to the structure. So I would need to get a new filter for the entire top. Plus the snow is kind of annoying right now, so don't really want to climb up there. Luckily though, the second option that I have is a lot easier. So I'm gonna try to cut the gap at the very top and then try to access the undercoating. I mean, if I do succeed, then I can just seal the gap with some construction foam and then success. There we go, nice gap. That filter itself is waterproof, so no water will leak through here anyway. Mind you that this needs to be only done on the living side. The terrace area and the children's playroom area are both uninsulated rooms, and doing it there is completely unnecessary. So this part actually went pretty smoothly. I was thinking I'm gonna have a nightmare fixing this up. Anyway, let's sort out the final problem. Here, right? Let's deal with the gaps now. So all in all, about 35% of the gaps are slightly wider than they need to be. Except these two. These are wildly wider than they need to be. I think I just kinda ran out of lumber at that point. Fixing this up though is very easy. The gaps that are too wide, I'm just gonna add a piece of lumber to one side. So much for my 30% prediction. I think I ended up doing about 90% instead. So the only bear that did not get any extra board was the first one and the last one. Currently I'm not really sure how to solve this situation. I would need to put like 7 boards in a row. That's not very practical. I'm gonna sort this out when I'm installing the insulation material. Maybe I don't really need to do anything, but it's actually good, I think, that my calculation kind of went sideways. With the extra board being at almost every roof truss, that should actually make the roof slightly stronger. But anyway, there's 2 things left to do. So the first thing is that I still need to add some distance here. Currently the insulation thickness would be about 200 millimeters. Clearly in Estonian conditions that is not enough. If I recall, the minimal thickness is about 250. I would absolutely love to put 300, but the problem is the size of this room. I mean, it's pretty small, and if I put 300 then the roof will be so incredibly thick that most likely I will be able to open the door about this much. The last thing that I need to do is to install those... Yeah, I just keep forgetting what those are called. I know what they're called in Estonian. The word is pen or pennid. Basically, I mean these things. So let's tackle the distance job first. There is a thing with that though. I don't have any lumber, but I do have a solution. Those pieces there. So these are like some pieces of lumber that were part of the original building. So basically they've been here ever since caveman learned how to make fire. Really old stuff. So my idea was, why not just cut these into usable size and try to hack my way through this episode without buying any lumber. Maybe save a couple of bucks on the way. Me thinking, let's go fire up the sawmill. That probably is the fastest option. Maybe. Gotta make sure I get the nails out though. It kinda sucks that they're all different dimensions. That's what I get for using caveman lumber. I wonder if this thing will start. I haven't used this for about 7 months now. I know one thing. The coolant tank is just frozen solid. But I think I don't need any coolant for this one. I do hope there's some gasoline in here. About half a tank of 7-month-old gasoline. Well, at least it's better than 8-month-old gasoline. So I got that going for me.
So heavy. Although I removed about 2.5 nails, I still managed to hit one. What are the odds of that? Pretty much immediately after hitting the nail, I felt the bandsaw just completely lost power. But it still kind of nicely continued on straight. So maybe I can finish off the last 3 boards, because I'm pretty sure I will hit nails there as well. Well, at least I know this thing still works. And the 7-month-old gasoline, premium. A little secret here. Luckily, still in Estonia, you can buy pure gasoline without any ethanol in it. So I use that stuff for all the chainsaws, lawnmowers, and things like this. Don't tell anyone. Let's go for a joyride. I think this tire is kind of failing on me. I think it's not pointing north anymore. It's pointing south now. What is up with that? Wait a minute. Fixed it. Now the thing is pointing north again.
Think it was worth it though, because not buying this amount, I ended up saving about 150. Some amount of currency. Wait a minute. I have a massive hole here now. So those boards actually serve the purpose here. Oh. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do try to carry on here. Shall we? Seems pretty straightforward. Let's kind of advance mode this part. Well, that was fun. You know, some of you might note here that 2/3 of this video could have been avoided if I just installed the right thickness and width roof trusses. So ideal would have been about 2 by 7. But then again, imagine how boring this episode would have been. Now let's try to imagine how that episode would have played out. Okay guys, so need to install some crap there, some insulation thing there, and also some insulation stuff on the roof. Here we go. Time-lapse mode. 2 minutes later. Okay guys, we are pretty much finished here. Thanks for coming by. See you in the next one. You know, that would have been just 2 minutes of crap. I'm actually glad that I have a bunch of problems that I need to solve. Personally, I believe that makes the videos a lot more interesting. But anyway, next thing is to install those these things. So let's go find something beefy to install here. Luckily, I do have some beefy stuff. This is my homemade lumber, and there are two good options here. So either 6x6s or 4x8s. But I was thinking I've used a lot of old lumber for the cabin, so maybe I should continue the trend. So the story behind these pieces is kind of sad one. My gramps got them for a project that he wanted to do, but he never really got around doing that project. Mostly because he was just so weak at the time. Also the stage 4 lung cancer didn't really do him any favors. So these pieces have been sitting for decades now, and there are quite a lot of them actually. I believe I have around 50 of these. I think he wouldn't mind if I used these pieces wherever he might be right now. Also the length of the thing is just perfect. So 270. So I could just cut the thing into 2 and I would have no pointless offcuts. Huh. Incredibly tight margins. Can't go any lower though. Wouldn't be able to open the door anymore. Okay, well, another check mark. Choosing the older beams though was definitely the way to go. I think a 4x8 would be too massive for this part. But anyway guys, let's actually try to wrap up this episode. Before applying the mineral wool, I'm gonna go over every nook and cranny I can possibly find with some construction foam. For example, these little holes, cracks, pretty much anything where I think mineral wool will not go. Got to make sure there are no pointless air gaps anywhere. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward. So let's rock and roll. these screws.
What a bunch of crap.
Airdrop certified. That thing has eyes now, so deal with it. Interesting. The cleaning party is over. The after party though will start in about 5 minutes. But that's a private event, VIP only. So you are not allowed to see this part. Basically, I'm just gonna clear most of this crap out of here. I mean, most of the stuff remaining here is just no longer required for this building. So yeah, got that thing sorted out. Freaking finally. You know, I'm not really a huge fan of this episode. Ever since I started installing the mineral wool, it's been a complete nightmare. I don't know why, but I thought it's only gonna take me 1 day. Boy, was I wrong though. So it took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 days to install the freaking insulation, all the vapor barrier, plus duct tape that crap together. I mean, this upper section here, beyond the cross ties. I remembered, guys, these are called cross ties. This upper section beyond the cross ties was just 8s. I mean, I wouldn't probably even call it 8s. Actually, it was more like Super 8s. I mean, it was not fun at all. Somehow I managed to install it though. I mean, it's all messed up, but it doesn't really matter as long there is a solid seal. My favorite part of this build, I think, are the cross ties. Yesterday I was watching one of my videos and some dude in the comments section was like, "Where's your cross ties, bro? This thing is gonna fall apart in about 10 minutes." Well, bro, here they are. And it's still standing. But yeah, I think my favorite part are these, I'm gonna call them grandpa ties. Yeah, my grandpa ties right here. I think after installing the final finish and the dies will be left outside slightly, we'll achieve a pretty cool look. So my vision for the finish will most likely be some type of wooden finish for the roof section, and most likely I'm gonna put some drywall in the corner walls. I think plain white drywall will go nicely together with some darker lumber. But that will not happen in the next episode. For the next episode, I have two possibilities. One is slightly better than the other. So the first option would be to try to finish this subfloor, this thing here. Right now I'm not really sure, should I leave some open area in the ceiling or should I just create a small gap for the staircase. I think if I left some openness up here, that would be pretty cool, but then again this upper area is just so ridiculously small, then this area would be pretty much pointless. My early vision for the floor was actually to remove this old area, only have this area as a bedroom. But then I somehow installed that door there, and now I'm thinking if I remove this bit, then it's gonna be a bit hard for me to efficiently open that door while levitating in air. So yeah, the first option would be to create a subfloor here. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, right? But there are a couple of roadblocks with the first option. I mean, this area is not very stable. I've noticed that this is fine, but as I walk here, then obviously these two beams aren't beefy enough, and I can sense bubble. So I don't really want to walk up here and bounce up and down. I would need to reinforce this area somehow. Another roadblock that might annoy me is the chimney part, because the chimney will come out from somewhere there and then go through the roof. It's most likely more ideal to install the chimney before doing the floor. But the thing with the chimney situation is that, I mean, it's kind of snowy, wintry outside, so doing a masonry chimney in freezing temperatures is most likely not the best idea. So the chimney installation has to be postponed until some warmer weather. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that if I get bored and want to do something at the cabin, then I can do the subfloor thing. But if I don't get bored and don't want to see the cabin at all, then I'm gonna wait for a while and do the chimney thing. But at least the cabin is nicely insulated now. It should be pretty decent. I mean, there is still one spot that is uninsulated. This OSB area. So behind the OSB we got the outside siding, and then, well, outside. And the temperature differences in this area can be visually seen. Now to kind of fix this situation, I would need to insulate this small area. That should do the trick. But anyway guys, I'm wrapping up this 8th of our episode. But at least thing is finished now and I can move on. Yay! But anyway guys, see you in the next one. Bye.